Okay, this time we're going to be looking at the lab location. The point number 12, it says for beam bottom bar, lab not be provided at middle third zone of the span. And they're actually providing a schematic diagram here as well. So if you look here, you can see that the beam is divided into three sections. This is a tension section, another tension section, and here is another tension section. And at the top we have a tension section, and a compression section. Okay, those of you who are from the civil engineering background, you already know that a beam has tension at the bottom and compression at the top if it is applied to if a downward force is applied to it. Okay, all right, so we have already known about the three sections in a beam because we have already done this. And remember the L by 4 and the L by 3 lengths. If we go to the beam building, you'll be able to see it here. As you can see, there we go, we did a lapping here. This distance is the distance of L by 4, and this distance is the distance of L by 3. So there are three sections. This is a section, this is another section, the A section, the B section, and again the A section. Right, so there are three sections. So what the rule here is saying that for beam bottom bar, lap not be provided at middle third zone of the span, meaning at the middle third zone, this tension zone, you should not provide lap here. Why shouldn't we provide lap here? Because this zone has the highest amount of moment here. So if we do a lapping over here, the bars will not be able to withhold that moment, and thus a failure may occur. That is why it is said not to place any laps right over here. Okay, all right. And at the second point, it says for beam top bar, lap may be provided at middle third zone of the span. Again, this time it says it should be provided at the compression section, not at the tension section. So again, because we had provided the extra tops, we know that there is a high chance of negative moments forming at the ends of the beam, right? Not at the center of the beam, but at the top ends of the beam. So that is why if the laps are provided there and negative moment does occur there, then again it causes a chance of failure. That is why we're not going to take that risk. We're going to put the lappings at the middle location for the top part of the beam. Okay, so let's say that your calculations show that there is no negative moment at the top left part of the beam or the right part of the beam. Can you provide splices there? Then the answer to that question is you should not. Even if your calculation doesn't show that there are any moments there, you should not provide any splices there. The reason being is that there can be some kind of unknown loads, right? So we take in a factor so that even if there are unknown loads, the design is okay. For those who do structural design, understand what I'm saying. But in that case, if you provide splice there and some kind of unload occurs here, maybe your calculations are right, but the physical property of this particular member section will not be able to withhold that. So that is why we're not going to provide splices there. We're always going to provide splices right over there. Okay, and right after that, it says not more than 50% of the bars shall be spliced at one place in column and shear wall. So what it means is, let me show you with the diagram. Let's say this is let's draw a long section of a column right over here. Pull the tracking on, do an offset of say 80 feet. Okay, let's say this is a column, a long section of a column, and let's do an offset of 3 inches. Okay, okay, very good. So here, let me just delete these two. Alright, done. They're deleted. Now if I turn this 4 bars into V bars, let's just say that these are V bars. There you go, these are V bars. Say this is the long section of the column, and you have to provide lap at places. So you can see that there are 4 bars, right? There are 4 bars, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think since we're looking at the long section, not I think, so there are actually 8 bars, 4 on this side and 4 on the opposite side that we are not being able to see because they are parallel faced. Okay, so we have 8 bars here. So at 8 bars we should always just do slicing at a place. We do slicing at a place, we should do for 4 bars here instead of 8 bars. For example, let's say that if we were to do splicing at this location, okay, there's one. let's say there is a splice right over there, and then similarly another splice would be right over here. So that's already 50%, right? So we have already done 50% of the bars. So an easy way of understanding is that if you have 4 bars, you should not splice more than 2 bars at the same location. Okay, let me just delete that. Okay, let me just open up Paint. That will be more easier. Okay, let's say that this is a column, and then inside we have 1, 2, 3, 4 for 8 bars, and I'm providing splice at this location. So it's already 2 bars, means for 50% of the bars, and then I have to provide splice again, but I'm not providing it there. Let me just increase that. This is the column. So I'm not providing it right over here. I'm going to provide it like that. Okay, so this is 50%. We should have done less than 50%, but we can also go up to 50%. So this is okay. So this scenario is okay. This is what we can do. Let's take a look at a scenario that we cannot do. So if this is our column and we have 8 bars, there you go, 8 bars. And if we did a splice like that, 1 splice here, 2 splice here, 3 splice here, so this is a no-go. Okay, this is not correct. This is exceeding the 50% mark. This is more than 50%, so no, we cannot do that. Okay, so this is what it says right over here. As you can see, it says not more than 50% of the bars shall be spliced at one place in column and shear wall. So this is true for columns and shear walls. And at D it says left splices are to be confined by hoops with maximum spacing or pitch of D by 4 or 4 inches, where D is the effective depth of the beam. So you can do the calculation here. If the effective depth of the beam is, let's say, 15 inches, then you'll get 15 divided by 4, which is, let's say, 15 divided by 4 is 3.75 inches. So you go with 3.75 inches. But if we had the effective depth of the beam, let's say the effective depth of the beam was 8, so 8 divided by 4, we're gonna get 2. That is okay, 2. Let's say the effective depth of the beam is, let's say, 15 divided by 4. We have 3.75, which we already did. Let's go 20. So 20 divided by 4, we'll get 5 inches. Right, so when we're doing D by 4 for a beam which has a depth of 20 inches, in that case we're gonna get a result like 5 inches. So we should not do 5 inches, we should go for 4 inches, because we cannot go further than 4 inches. This is what it says. Okay, and to understand that why we need hoops at the splices, that is that the hoops are actually placed there to make it invulnerable to shear. Okay, since the splices are cut off here, the slices are cut off there, so they're kind of vulnerable to shear forces. So the hoops are going to protect them from the shear forces. Okay, let's go to Paint and understand the D by 4 a little bit better. So let's say if we go down, let's say this is a beam and it has effective depth. I think I took it. Okay, let's just consider this as the effective depth, and this is 15 inches. And then we have another beam which is effective depth is D equals to 20 inches. So we're gonna do D by 4 for the, here as it says, D by 4 for the spacing of the hoops. So if we do D by 4 here, so D by 4 for this particular column is going to be 15 divided by 4 is 3.75, so 3.75 inches. So we're going to apply 3.75 inches of spacing, but this particular number is not good for field work, so we're going to decrease the spacing to 3 inches. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. So this was for case 1. This is what we're doing. Now for case 2, we're going to see a difference here, which is D by 4 is actually 5 inches, but the specification says either D by 4 or 4 inches, meaning if your d by 4 exceeds 4 inches, then you should always go for 4 inches. So in this case, the spacings should be done at 4 inches. So this was for case 2. Okay. All right. Okay, and here there is a star mark that says at left splice spacing of hoops less than or equal to d by 4 but not greater than 4 inches. This is exactly what I just said right now with the examples, right? Yeah, okay. All right, so that is it, and you can see the effective depth here as well. So the H is representing the beam depth while D is representing the effective depth. So for those of you who do not know what the effective depth is, that is from the top of the beam to the, let me go down a bit. The effective depth is from the top of the beam to the center of the rebar. That is effective depth. Okay. All right. Okay. So let's just leave it at that, and we'll continue on from here in the next lecture. Thank you very much for watching.